5 World's Tallest Man and Woman. There are plenty of people many consider giants, but only one man has taken the record as the tallest giant in history. The tallest person ever born, whose height has been medically recorded, was Robert Wadlow. Though he was born to average-sized parents and weighed 8.7 pounds at birth, Wadlow was destined to stand above the rest of humanity at 8,11.1 inches, 2.72 meters. Sadly, he only lived to the age of 22, though there was no indication he wouldn't have continued growing had he lived longer. 1. The tallest woman ever known to live was Zhang Jinlian of Yujiang village in the Hunan province of China. She stood 8,1 inch at the time of her death in 1982 at the age of 17. She began growing abnormally at only 4 months old, managing to grow to a whopping 5,1.5 inches before her 4th birthday. By the age of 13, she was already 7,1.5 inches. Her record height was recorded by Guinness World Records as the tallest female ever documented. However, other women who were shorter were given a record for being the tallest woman alive at the time they were recorded. 2. 4 World's largest office building. When people think of what might be the world's largest office building, they probably picture a skyscraper stretching to the heavens, but in reality, it's only 5 stories high. Of course, height doesn't matter, what does matter is square footage in terms of office space and personnel capacity. The building that set the record in 1955 and continues to hold it is the United States Pentagon in Washington, D.C., with more than 6.6 million square feet of total floor area. Of that, there are more than 3.7 million square feet of office space spread across 5 floors above ground with 2 basement levels. There is more than 3 times the amount of space in the Pentagon than there is in the Empire State Building in New York City, and its numerous corridors stretch for 17.5 miles, though, due to the 5 concentric rings built into its design, no 2 points in the building take more than 7 minutes to walk between. In terms of personnel, there have been more than 31,000 working at the Pentagon at one time. 3. World's richest man, adjusted. In 2020, the world's wealthiest man was Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, who had racked up $146.9 billion in personal wealth. While that might just buy everything Amazon sells several thousand times over, it's not the most personal wealth a single person has had in the history of the world, when adjusted for inflation. The person who towered over Bezos in terms of personal wealth was none other than John D. Rockefeller, a man who controlled 90% of oil production in the United States. In 1913, his personal wealth was listed at $900 million. 4. Of course, that was in 1913 dollars, but when you adjust it for inflation and add the accumulation of wealth leading up to his death in 1937, Rockefeller's worth jumps to $418 billion. Nobody else in the history of the world could compare to that amount of wealth, though it's difficult to compare him to someone like an Egyptian pharaoh or Augustus Caesar, so he holds the record of being the richest person in modern history. Forbes declared Rockefeller the richest person in history in 2006 when his adjusted wealth topped $305.3 billion, and it's only increased since then. 5. 2 World's longest fingernails. If you've ever cracked open a copy of Guinness World Records, odds are, you've seen a picture of Sri Archil of Pune, India, and recoiled in horror from what you saw. That's because Sri Archil holds the record for having the world's longest fingernails, which is a record he achieved by not cutting his fingernails for 66 years. Of course, having nails like that wouldn't make it possible to use your hand for much of anything, so he only grew the nails on his left while keeping his right hand neatly trimmed. When his nails were finally cut, they measured in at a disturbing 29,10.1 inches, 909.6 centimeters. He began growing them out, or stopped cutting them, whichever makes more sense, when he was 14 years old. A teacher chastised him for breaking a nail, and from that point, he stopped cutting them. Having nails that long on your hand isn't easy, and he suffered from a great deal of pain and sleeping difficulty as a result. He finally had them cut so that they could be put on display in Ripley's Believe It or Not. in Times Square. 7. One world's fattest man. Some records you want to set, and some you don't. When it comes to weight, there is one man who weighed in much higher than anyone else in recorded history. John Brower Minock set the record for being the heaviest human being ever recorded, and when he was at his heaviest, he weighed in at a massive 1,400 pounds, 635 kilograms. Minock was never a thin man, and when he was 12 years old, he weighed 294 pounds, 133 kilograms. By the age of 22, he stood 6,1 inch, 1.85 meters, and weighed 500 pounds, 230 kilograms. Minock's weight became a significant factor in his declining health, and it was determined that his weight was due to a condition in which the body generates excess fluid. He was hospitalized for 16 months, during which he lost 924 pounds, 419 kilograms, which almost set another record that placed him with the second largest amount of weight loss to have ever been recorded. Unfortunately, a year later, he weighed nearly 1,000 pounds, and he was dead less than 2 years later. At the time of his death, he weighed 798 pounds, 262 kilograms. 10.